Buongiorno. E buongiorno. Eccoci qua. Facciamo una veloce live. O meglio, mi faccio una partita veloce nel mentre, anziché guardarmelo da solo. Lo pubblico. Allora, andiamo a visitare Londra. Togliamoci sta missione.
Landing initiated. Watch your flaring.
Ok.
Greetings, Captain.
È tipo la prima quest alternativa che avevo attiva. Ma è Isengard, non è Londra. Ok.
Oh, that jump looked painful. Not doing that.
Mercurio. Tanto non ho mai visto il Mercurio in giro. O quantomeno non ci avevo fatto caso, ecco. Portare la parte di vetro a Vlad. Va bene. Tanto che ci siamo, vediamo sto pianeta deserto. Quindi Londra è rimasto sto schifo. Più che Londra, ripeto, sembra Isengard. Comunque. Ora che ci penso, in realtà devo andare anche dall'altra parte del pianeta. Giappone.
Don't rush the scan. Wouldn't want to overlook anything valuable.
Ok. Beh, 200 di exp. Andiamo ad Osaka. Uguale. Ok, quindi anche qua c'è una Isengard giapponese. Molto bene. Andiamo a prenderci la palla di vetro di Osaka. No. Quindi solo Londra ha le palle di vetro, va bene. Mi fa quantomeno sorridere che ci sia rimasto... Cioè, non capisco molto il senso della cosa, sinceramente. Cioè, perché dovrebbe rimanere un grattacielo e intorno alla sabbia? Cioè, per carità, sono contento che non c'ho la... Missione è finita la di Osaka, scusa, giusto per... Sono contento che non c'è la mega... Osaka. Che cavolo. Ah, vedi che c'è la palla di vetro. Quindi se vado tipo Milano non ci provo neanche perché non so, una città tipo Washington piuttosto che... Però non ci sono. Andiamo a vedere. So già che non ci sarà niente. Almeno posso dire essere tornato a casa. Giusto. Non c'è niente. Però a Osaka e a Londra invece c'è un grattacielo. Va bene. Cioè intendo... Posso capire delle rovine medio-piccole oppure un piccolo pool di come posso dire? Un piccolo pool di rovine di città, appunto, schedre di legno, cemento, cose. Capivo. Ma c'è cioè,
This is
è
UC
intero.
Security. Prepare to be scanned for contraband.
Dai, su.
And
Sì, ciao.
Welcome to New Homestead. Please make your way to the building at the end of the path and down into the colony below. Stay safe and enjoy your visit.
Hey, what can I do for you? Got anything you need to offload? Trade it? Sure, how about it? I'm sure you can find something you like.
Yeah. Mica si chiama spaziera. Durata poco. Ma... Ah, qua è il solito di quando metto a posto delle navi mi svuotano l'inventario. Poi manca il tungsteno. Eccolo. Ok. Posso volare di nuovo verso...
Don't stay outside for too long here on Titan. It's solid without the proper protection.
It's one thing to learn about early colony.
Interesting. The last thing I expected to stumble across at this type of settlement is a museum. Might be worth a look around.
Heads up if you're planning on going to Chunks. Luther's been bothering anyone with a ship for help.
The people here live a simple life. Try not to complicate it.
Lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
The elders say that preserving our tradition is so important, but I keep hearing such wonderful
Hello?
things about other
I'm
worlds.
not really supposed to talk with tourists, but I kind of want to anyway. And I don't think my papa is paying attention. You're not going to tell him, are you? Oh, thank you! I promise it'll be fun. I like talking to tourists. I get to learn so much about everywhere else, and they get to learn about here. Now what should we talk about? Not really. There's some, though. Most are around my age. We all go to school in the same room. I don't know. I've never been to any other schools. We mostly learn about the history of the Sol system and Earth and stuff like that until we get old enough to go on our learning vacation. That's when we get to leave to go to school somewhere else for a few years, or travel and visit other worlds, try out jobs and stuff. Oh, I can't wait. My mama says it's because he thinks we'd up and leave if we found out about the rest of the worlds out there. But I keep telling him, I love it here, and I love him, and I would never leave him. He doesn't believe it. He says the kids almost always want to leave when they grow up. But not me. Nope. I just want to visit somewhere else. Maybe. I think it's pretty fun. And I get to be around my mama and my papa all day, so that's cool. They say we all have to work a little, because it takes all of us to make the community work. Just like on Earth a really, really, really long time ago. Someday, I think it'd be cool to see other places and do other things, but this is fine for now. Bye!
Ah, someone new. Are you a tourist, or have you just moved to New Homestead? Well, there's lots to learn. You can always feel free to try one of the historical tours, or ask the locals about life here. I'm fascinated by the other worlds in the settled systems. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Oh, wonderful. What's New Atlantis like? Oh my, that sounds incredible. Ever since I overheard one of the tourists speaking about it, I've always wanted to go. We hear about it, of course, but we rarely get much exposure to other worlds beyond the people who come from them to visit our little colony.
Okay.
I wonder if I can convince Nathaniel to go on a trip there with me and our daughter. Do you mind if I ask you another question? Thanks. I promise not to take too much of your time. Is the Freestar Collective as lawless as I've heard? Really? That sounds nice, but what happens if there's a dispute? Who settles it? Do people really just take the law into their own hands at that point? Can people be trusted to do the right thing? Gosh, I'm sorry, you don't need to answer all of that. I'm just so fascinated by it all. Is it okay if I change the subject? Oh, thank you. Are there really planets full of plants, fresh air, and water? I've read about them. It seems incredible, doesn't it? I've only ever known Titan, and it's always so cold and drab. I've always dreamed of visiting one to breathe the air, feel the warmth of its sun, but my husband is reluctant to leave our home. Can I ask you something else? Thanks. I promise not to take too much of your time. Is space travel as exciting as it seems? I've heard stories about pirates and spaceship malfunctions and all sorts of terrible things. I've always wanted to try going into space, but I'm also worried about all those dangers. Maybe people here are right. The dangers here are few, and we know how to take care of them. Space is too unknown. Those are all the questions I have at the moment. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day for me.
Va bene così.
Some of us are quite happy with our lives here. We don't need tourists. I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara, filling her head with ideas about picking up and leaving. You got anything to say for yourself? Listen here. Mara's free to make her own decisions. I'm not here to control her if that's what you're insinuating. But that doesn't mean I take kindly to other people manipulating her and telling her the other worlds are full of sunshine and rainbows. We live a simple traditional life here, and it's important to the community that we maintain that. Do you understand? Traditions like the way we tend this farm, strong family ties, early colonial life. We do it all with the bare minimum technologies to survive. Everything else is hard work done by humans. It's good for humanity's soul. People rely on technology too much. We need to remember how to perform the basics to survive in case we ever find ourselves without said technology. We need to remember where we came from, Earth, this system, lest we forget and repeat the same mistakes as before. We're one of the last colonies charged with that preservation. That's why it's important. We're going to have to agree to disagree then. I only ask that you respect our wishes. I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara. You got anything to say for... Goodbye.
Video sta gente con la verità in tasca.
No disrespect, but I'd appreciate if you let me in my... I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara, filling her head with ideas about picking up and leaving home. You got anything to... Listen here. But that doesn't mean... We live a simple... People rely on technology. We need to remember, we're one of the last... Traditions like the way we do it all with... Did you? Well, she should know better than to talk with tourists like you. Now, you might want to consider heading off before... I overheard you speaking to my wife, Mara. You got anything to... Listen here, Mara, but that doesn't mean we live a simple... Good. I know it's not easy for you types, but this is our home.
Well, we used to get more tourists than we do these days.
Quindi, nuova missione del giorno e mandare via. Portare quelle povere criste a fare un giro su altri pianeti. Dannati bigotti conservatori.
Thanks again for taking the time to answer questions for me. I learned a lot from you.
Poi ho anche detto che viaggiare è pericoloso. Cacchio vuoi?
Feel free to look around, but don't touch.
C'è un sacco di sicurezza.
Things have never been better since this trunk's opened up. Makes me feel like we're actually part of the UC. Hello there. Welcome to the new Homestead Chunk. Sadly, we're out of the special sauce. I know. So, well, people gotta eat, you know? But seriously, I think we're just starting to get with the times a little. And I can't think of a better restaurant than Chunks to usher that in. I think corporate just saw New Homestead as an untapped market. Yeah, the locals may not eat it, but the tourists love having a taste of home. If I'm completely honest, it is. And people are always saying how this Chunks can't compare to the real deal. And I just know it's because we never had that mouth-watering sauce. I've been in contact with some of the other restaurants out there, and they'll give me some, but they say they can't afford to send it, and I don't have a ship, so what am I to do? Wait, for real? You do that? You're not pulling my leg? Oh, yeah, right. I actually just got a message back from another Chunks before you got here, and they got a case ready to go for me. Just tell them you're there to pick it up for me, and it should be good to go. Thanks. You know I do. And what's not to love? Here. Oh, you had to go in that. How can I pick just one? There's chicken. You know what? I'm gonna cheat if you don't mind, and just say, "Ooh, I can't wait until it's time to eat." I'm gonna use our discount to get a bunch of different chunks and mix them all up. Try some new flavor profiles, as they say.
Did you know the museum here is full of old Earth artifacts?
Well, what did we think of the tour?
Very informative. I didn't know about the
lay
methane
eyes on
harvesters
the
before
Earth
coming here.
just once. Hello there. Are you
Unexpected from a backwoods planet like this.
It has a quaint...
wonderful? These are all rare artifacts from before. There isn't much of this stuff left outside of private. If you have any questions about the exhibit,
We will. Thanks again.
of course, we have everything from toys to antique technology to sports memorabilia. Most of our collection was donated by fellow Earth and...
Claudio said he was playing with some of the machinery down by
Thanks
the mine.
for
And he got his
visiting.
arm stuck inside. It could have been ripped off.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, kids, little troublemakers. I'll tell the guests to be more careful.
Damn right. You've got to do something, or else next time it happens, I'm billing you personally.
Eh?
Great. Another tourist. Let me guess. You slipped on the ice and need a doctor. I appreciate that you're trying to set me at ease, but that might as well be the same. Sorry for how I responded. It's not you, it's me. I'm just frustrated about all the non-native people I need to treat when our own still need help. Anyway. I don't. They make a mockery of New Homestead culture. And on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before. The problem is that most of the tourists' injuries are from preventable accidents. Things our people know how to avoid. And often I have to take care of them first because they can't leave with their injuries, so I have to put off seeing my... So not only am I working extra hard for people who have little respect for me... Actually, maybe there is. I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown. And so I bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive. Maybe, I'm not sure. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't have any other idea. And you know these tourists will believe anything they see in here. Oh, good. I was hoping not to. Here's the costume. I think this will work best on the surface, so just find a group and run up to them, acting like a convincing alien monster. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book the next flight out of it.
Come aumentare il turismo su Titano. Parte 1.
Hello there. Wonderful. There isn't... If you have... I am Maurice Leon, and I am the community elder. As I tell stories to the young people, although my memory isn't what it used to be. When our early colonists learned of Earth's demise, they decided to take on the... Now, some may have been lost in translation over the years, and some may have... For instance, my family comes from the city of Lyon, in a country... Sure, there was once a war, so big that they say all of the world was involved. This was... They fought because a terrible man named... Even the colony war pales in... Why, certainly. There was a time when huge monstrosities called their reign ended when I can't... Whatever it was, it nearly... It's an interesting story. New Homestead began. The hope was that humanity would be able to discover simple alien life here, given when that ultimately failed, it was repurposed as a colony research base. Then, finally, when gravity drives were commonplace and we started finding Earth... A long time ago, thousands of years, they called it the Great Wall of China. And I'll have to look it up. Take care.
Okay.
Hey, got any fancy trinkets you want to offload? Well, hello there, and welcome to my little... Oh, nice. You know, it's always such a pleasure to meet people from other worlds. I'm Jay. I'm happy to help you find what you're looking to buy or take a look at whatever you want. Or if you have any questions for me about the shop, the merchant. Glad you asked. I'm looking for all sorts of things. Anything, really. Clothing. We don't get a lot of off-world stock, so I offer to buy things from travelers. Between you and me, people around here talk a lot about tradition and whatnot, but even... I love them. Most of us in New Homestead appreciate what tourism does for us. Some are indifferent about it, while a few others, I won't name names, are downright resentful. But that being said, I believe our generally friendly demeanor is a large part of what we used to, but not anymore. Believe it or not, the New Homestead Tourism Board decided a while back to do away. We don't really have the resources or facilities to make them here ourselves, and it was decided that anything less than that. Only thing we have are these souvenir slates about the history of New Homestead. Tell you what, I've got an extra one here that another guest left behind a while.
Ok.
Sure thing.
Quanti soldi hai? 2000. Vediamo cosa vendi. Nulla. Niente. Me l'ha già dato. Gratis. Questi no. Ah, pepiera, non stavo capendo cosa fosse. Va bene. E ti vendo un po' di roba. Non è che... comunque. Andiamo in ordine di massa, va? Così ci leviamo da qualcosa magari. Tipo cose che valgono poco ma hanno tanta massa. Questa. Già finiti i soldi. Te lo regalo, guarda.
Come back anytime.
Sì, ciao.
Welcome to New Homestead.
New Homestead's quite the learning experience. Bring your kids! Why, hello there! I'm Bill Starsap of Starsap Tours. For instance, did you know that New Homestead was one of the first colonies? Well, there's plenty more where that came from. So what do you say? I've got an opening. Excellent! You won't regret it. My tours are one of a kind. Now, there's just the matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits. Great! Let's get this show on the road, eh? All right, so this is New Homestead's main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astrobase, was finished in 2130. Follow me. We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection. But first, let's go see where people live. Now remember, these people aren't actors. They actually live here, so try to be respectful of that. While the original inhabitants of the Titan Astrobase lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144. Space is extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here, but more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours. I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me.
Ah! I just so much. That's way more awesome wherever you come. Do you have a spaceship? I want to get a spaceship when I'm older. They're so cool.
alla ricerca dei quotidiani. Qua c'è la clinica della tizia arrabbiata. Immagino che non voglia che io apra il computer. Va bene.
Questions, comments, points of clarification?
I can't wait to go away on my learning vacation when I grow up. I kind of want to try food from that Junk's place, but my papa says it's just a bunch of junk food for tourists.
Some say New Homestead is a backwoods world. Maybe it is, but that doesn't really bother me. Oh, you don't really want to talk to me. I'm just a nobody from the crates. Besides, I'm not really good at talking to tourists about New Homestead. If you're really interested in our history, talk to Maurice. He's a lot better at that than I am.
Va bene. Anche questa l'abbiamo sbangata. Con i capelli bagnati. Ah, te ho capito più o meno cosa hai detto perché stavo parlando al telefono.
You do? I mean, sure. I don't know what I can tell you. Okay, well, no. Not the studies specifically. But I'm poor. I keep having to take odd jobs just to put food on my plate. And when I... Later. Must be nice to be able to afford to travel. Okay, well, no. But I keep having to... Really? I thought it was the only way. I remember my parents telling me that when they were still around. But maybe you're right. I guess I can put my studies on hold, at least until I get... Maybe part of the reason I feel I've been stuck in a rut is because I pushed...
I'm sure she appreciates the advice, but I think actual funds would have been a bit more helpful. It was nice talking to you again.
You off-worlders have it made. Okay, well, but... I keep having to take... What? Really?
I'm pleased that you realize the importance of a decent education. Leaving? Oh,
I can't tell you how much I need... Well, I'm trying to finish up my undergrad schooling, actually. I want to be... But I also do some odd jobs here. Sometimes I help Jay out at his shop, and he gives me stuff in return. The crates are what we call the living quarters for the poor people. Like me. They're comfortable enough, I guess. And no one on Titan is well off to begin with. But you can tell... It's not as bad as you'd think. I like talking to off-worlders, especially because, honestly, I'm not sure I want to stay here. It'll always be my... See you around, maybe.
Va bene, quindi gli ho mollato soldi. Così.
Sure would be nice to get off world sometime.
In pratica sono come le case quelle di... Cos'è? Neon.
That tour guide showed one of the kids a picture of some silly drawing he saw in Sidonia. Now I feel like it's popping up everywhere.
Careful. There are some dangerous areas around here that are not part of any tours.
If
I
you
could
need
really
medical
go for some of
attention,
Anya's
see
cooking
Dr.
over at the Brown
Lagrota.
Horse.
But a word of warning, she really doesn't care for tourists.
Queste sono le suite. Non me ne segna come furto, però... Vabbè.
Someone's got to talk to Joyce about these brownouts. You get used to the methane processing smell after a while.
Va bene.
Hi there.
Off-worlders always ask how I can live here.
Tourists. They
It's a
have
little
local
weird. They
fun
can
and
live
people
anywhere
come
else.
Always. You'll never catch me.
Have any questions so far? I'm not sure the exact count, but New Homestead is a fairly small colony. What you see is what you get for the most part, except for some other people who live in the private lower levels. Some, particularly security, and yours truly, even commute from other worlds. The original Titan Astrobase had more habitation pods on the surface connected to some of the old structures you may have seen in the back. As the colony grew, the base was expanded underground, and those hab units were recycled into materials used down here. Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy. Oh, sure, I'll be... Have any questions so... Alrighty. We'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface. Let's leave these good people alone for now and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator.
New Homestead is a living history exhibit. These are real people, so please be kind to them.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died. These pods are sealed and climate controlled, the perfect environment for growing the hydroponic vegetation needed for survival in the early days of the colony.
Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job preserving its tradition.
Any questions about the farm? Oh, they are indeed. Colonists still cultivate plant-based food for their own consumption here in New Homestead. It's less vital to their survival these days, as they also import supplemental food from other colonies, including... However, most citizens here take pride in a... These days, it's a mix of what you find elsewhere in the galaxy, but in the olden days, it was a lot of hearty root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, beets, and such. Good question. It's largely the same, because this was the colony that pioneered the techniques you see elsewhere. But you'll notice that the farms here are smaller and staffed by humans. Things here are a little more old-fashioned compared to some of the large Onward it is! But for now, it's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan Astrobase. Sadly, they're undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here. Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan. Funny you should ask. Sadly, none. See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned. Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine... So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habits. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astrobase and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site. Sure thing.
We take vandalism seriously here. You don't mess with history.
I could really go.
Enjoy our visit here.
Ci andiamo dopo, dai.
Pardon the dust, but... You got it! On to our next... Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit, because it's a bit chilly out there. We're going out into the frozen wastes of Titan to see what powers this planet. Watch your step outside, by the way. The ice can be slippery if you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
Hello?
Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Powering New Homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astro base. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today. The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right, New Homestead's famous wind farms. This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds. These turbines have been integral to the colony's function since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity. So, let's talk about wind. Mostly. I'm sure you've noticed the occasional brownouts. I guess these old machines have a... There's some methane on reserve for critical life support systems, but everything else here is... You're looking at a piece of history. Sure, wind power is used throughout the galaxy. It's impressive that was all they had back then, and still make it work. You're right. Most surface wind on Titan isn't too terribly strong, but here, the altitude and other conditions are perfect. Like many worlds with atmosphere, the higher you go, the windier it gets. You're the boss. Let's go. Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources. Titan is rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane. Surely you saw huge pools of the stuff on your descent into New Homestead. I like to think they add to the natural beauty of this world. Like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex-wife's pet. She had this gorgeous, I don't know what you'd call it, creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. Feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand. Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she's my ex-wife. But enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right? Hey, can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They had this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled systems. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. That's how this place has remained operational as long as it has. I'm not going to take you too close to the machinery, liability and all, but I can still answer questions.
Va bene, va bene, va bene. Cosa mi dice Twitch? Notifica. Va bene. Top.
Questions?
Dimmi tutto.
It's not as if they shut down for a month. It's not shut down at all, actually. See, this place is built with redundant systems, so they can shut it down piece by piece and suffer only a reduction in throughput.
Okay.
During that time, the UC gets more of its resources from other places, allowing New Homestead to maintain what it needs. Exports mostly, since this world is so methane rich and has the infrastructure for it, a lot of the UC's methane comes from Titan. Of course, New Homesteaders use it themselves for everything from generating heat to turning it into breathable oxygen by a modern science.
Ok.
Oh, no one's ever asked me that before.
Ok.
Take your time.
Effettivamente qua non avevo fatto nessun giro, nessun controllo. Diamo un'occhiata veloce. Che magari qua qualche rivista la troviamo. Andiamo a dare un'occhiata, va? No,
Ah,
no.
there. Always nice seeing a new face.
Sure would be nice to. I don't mind the tourists. They help the local economy.
Lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
No, qua non c'è niente, va bene. Qua? Nemmeno.
Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job preserving its traditions.
Sì. Quindi no, nessun magazine, nessun giornale, nessuna rivista. Non perdiamoci. Quindi di qua si torna dentro passando da sotto. Capito. Vabbè.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early
Già c'è questo vestito che è imbarazzante. Comunque. Varia gente che gira. Lascio una cassa. Andiamo a vedere. Ma tanto qualsiasi cosa c'è dentro è rubare, me l'ha già detto, quindi via. Ci sono dei lavoratori.
Questions? Okie dokie, artichoke. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour. Fun fact, it's also the only natural landmark on the tour. What we're about to see is a glacial spire we affectionately call Emir's Horn. This collis used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential litigation. Now, what's a collis, you might say? Collis derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, collis, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here. So here it is, Emir's Horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like. A According to ancient Norse mythology, Ymir was the first Jotun, a frost giant. In the legend, they were both male and... Ymir even predated the Norse gods, who, as it turns out, killed Ymir to fashion the earth and all of humanity from the corpse. It's a fascinating story, and... I've heard this particular formation was caused by an ancient volcano. Just be careful, it can get slippery out.
Facciamoci sto giro del corno. Va bene, ho fatto il giro di sto coso inutile.
So here it is. Excellent. On to... So, we're gonna head back inside through the methane processing plant. Try not to touch anything on your way. We want to make sure to respect Dr. Lakota's wishes to be safer around here. Ah, that brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth, as a way to remember the past. The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it. You'll find most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and I respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on the operation. Since methane production is such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface. You're welcome to keep your suit on if you'd like. As you might expect from a place called the ice mines, it can get a little chilly. It takes miners working daily to clear the ice, melt it down, and keep the water flowing. else can I tell? I wouldn't recommend it. First, it's an active work site. Second, it still needs to be filtered and... But don't worry, we'll stop somewhere for refreshments before the tour is over. Good question. I believe it has something to do with not wanting to contaminate the water. The ice helps prevent impurities in the water. Not all. Some water is created as a byproduct of methane processing, but that's usually saved in the emergency reserves. Of course, watch your step.
Mining ice isn't that hard. It's the methane you gotta watch out for.
Claudia
Other
Amsterdam.
tourists come to learn about the ice mines, huh? It's dangerous in the ice mines. I'd much rather answer your questions than have you going off to explore on your own. I'm surprised I still get this question. It's slippery, it's sharp, it can break, it can cave in. Those are just the obvious examples. Titan is also full of methane, which can sometimes be trapped under the ice. As you know, methane can explode under the right conditions. It can also asphyxiate you if you breathe in too much of it. Ah, so you can relate. It's good to talk with someone who understands the challenges of the job. Not everyone does. If I might ask, what do you mind? Oh. That's not what I expect. But, visions, you say, huh? Well, that sounds... Anyway, I'm sure we could swap mining stories all day, but, for drinking water. And we use some of it to... We recycle a lot of what we use, but we still need a nice, steady supply For one, New Homestead is not a wealthy company. But we also pride ourselves on doing things the old. We don't mind. We work hard here.
Okay.
Stay safe.
It must be difficult. Whoa, whoa! What the hell are you firing at?
Okay.
What else can I tell you about? Sounds good. We have just one more stop before we're done with the tour, and it just happens to be my favorite. This colony is home to the longest-running establishment still in existence. The Brown Horse Tavern. The Brown Horse started as a simple mess hall for the scientists and workers when the underground was built, but it's been operated by the same family ever since. Now, what's a horse, you might say? They were a large four-legged animal on Earth, often used for transportation or manual labor. Long before space travel was even a dream for the folks of Earth, even before antique machines like automobiles were possible, horses could be found everywhere. You might have seen them in old movies or read about them somewhere. If not, I highly recommend looking into them sometime. They're beautiful animals. The tavern's original owner was infatuated with them, from what I understand, and named the place in their honor. The moniker, Brown Horse Tavern, is also a throwback to names of similar Earth restaurants.
So then I
hundreds of years
that we
before it was
churn our
established.
own butter. He completely bought it.
You didn't.
I did. I know I I shouldn't have, but I just wanted to see how they'd react.
That delicious smell is making me hungry. Can I answer anything about the brown horse?
That's a good point. They already gawk at us like we're some sort of ancient curiosity.
Anya Seattle is the current owner of the brown horse. It's been in the Seattle family for generations. But Anya will be able to tell you more herself. Feel free to ask her. It doesn't feel right coming from me when she's standing right over there. Ooh, that's a tough one. I honestly love everything Anya serves here. I'd be doing her a disservice to recommend one dish over another. You want the real answer? Order one of everything. Easy. All the other ones fell to ruin when we abandoned Earth. There were technically older ones on Mars, but those have long since shuttered or been replaced. Oh yeah, by all means, stop in for a moment.
Hey, you better not be doing any mining out there without me. I've been standing around here an awfully long time, you know. Try not to miss me too much.
We used to get more tourists than we do these days. You get
Off-worlders
used to the
always ask
methane
how I
processing
can
smell
live
after
here.
a while.
I wonder how they can live anywhere else.
Ice mining operations are unusual, but if they're run properly, they can prove to be quite lucrative.
Those folks in Sidonia may be closer to Earth, but we do a better job
Off-worlders
preserving
always
its
ask
traditions.
how I can live here. I wonder how they can live anywhere else.
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. To me, it's just how we live.
Oh, I hope we find a use for that before it spoils.
Va bene.
Hi there. Always nice seeing a new face.
Welcome. I'm Anya. Is this your first time with us at the Brown Horse Tavern?
Remember that time a few years back where everyone had to huddle together for...
Oh, well, thank you for joining us. You're in for a real treat. We've got an assortment of food and drinks, some of which follow homemade. So, what can I do for you?
Joyce is great at what she does. I'm sure she'll handle it.
The locals pretty much stay away from chunks, so whenever they don't feel like cooking themselves, only the tourists eat that junk. But he manages the chunks. I love him, but... You mean the Brown Horse? Well, it's only the longest continuous running restaurant since there's a lot of history within these walls. And some damn fine food and drink, if I say. My however many great-grandmother opened it when back then, it was a simple mess hall that she chose to put a little extra... Let me show you what we... It may not look like it.
Facciamoci sto pasto coloniale.
So long. Tell your friends about us.
That delicious. Okay then. All right, we're headed to the last stop, right back where we began. Feel free to check out the museum exhibit in the main concourse here. These displays are full of rare earth trinkets salvaged from before humanity left, and Maurice is happy to talk about the collection. The museum's curator, Maurice, will be happy to talk to you if you want to know more. Well, that's that! I hope you enjoyed Starsap Tours as much as I enjoy giving them. Oh, wow. I really appreciate it. You know, I rely on tips from good people like you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy the rest of your stay in New...
Wow, very generous. As long as you're throwing around money, maybe you wouldn't mind tossing some my way.
Take care!
Capisco.
People here live a simple life. Try not to complicate it.
It's always so cold here.
Devo passare dall'altro ascensore per fare l'altro giro, va bene.
Hidebi, do you come from one of those planets with beautiful skies and fresh air? My...
Poveraccia.
Enjoy our visit here.
Some of the locals dislike tourists, but I love learning new insights from them. Oh, hello there. Are you here about the brownouts? That's usually the only reason people come up here. Of course you did. That's okay. It's a problem here. Citizens and visitors. Problem is, I don't know how long we'll have to deal with this, because I'm needed here to oversee the whole system. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Oh, excellent. Then you must know how this old power system machinery can get crusted over with ice. I think you can take a laser cutter and break up the ice. Oh, thank you. Just be careful not to hurt yourself or the equipment.
Quindi preferiscono rischiare di morire tutti. Va bene. Chi sono io per fermarvi?
someone.
Andiamo a fare risparmiare quei 5 secondi di camminata. Non quel caricamento che altro. E mi spara dalla parte opposta.
Don't stay outside for too long.
Tanto c'ho il sensore buggato.
How's it? I'm really glad you're helping us out. Good work. Thanks. I hope this lasts a little longer than last time. Titan's such an incredible place. Well, I just started this job a few months ago. I came here as a child and did one of the tours. I loved it so much, I jumped at the chance to come back. I know it may sound unusual, but I knew what I was getting. The challenge is actually one of the things that attracted me to the job. No, New Atlantis, born and raised. It's okay though. The people here were a little wary of someone coming in from the outside, but once I changed my name in accordance with their local customs, and that was fine by me. I feel proud, taking on the name of the Earth City my family came from. Did you see those huge wind turbines out there on your way in? Titan's strong winds provide... See you.
Bene.
New Homestead is a living history exhibit, but these are real people. Welcome to New Homestead.
It's going to eat us!
Get out of my way! We're being chased!
Careful. There are some dangerous areas around here. Feel free to look around, but don't touch.
Do you need medical assistance? If you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. They're for your own safety. I'll bet they won't be coming back in. Thanks for indulging me with my... Tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times... What can I do for you? We have fewer people here, and we're very... For anything else, we can get access to off-world specialists. I bought it from a private seller. They said they got it from someone who wore it in a secondary school as their sport. I guess it was supposed to be a tardigrade or something. Anyway, the person I bought it from modified it a bit so they could use it in an independent movie they were making. But I guess that went nowhere, so they had to sell it. Lucky me, I suppose. It's a hard... There's no breathable air. New Homestead was an early... Don't worry so much. Okay. The good news is you'll live. Bad news is I'm almost... A few stitches and... There you go. I'm sure I've got... Stay safe.
We take vandalism seriously here. You don't mess with history.
I'll treat you if you need it. But please, try to be more... Did you scare off those tourists yet? See, sometimes... I'm just happy I was able to find someone... Tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times...
Airlock integrity looks good.
Hello, Captain.
Stay alert. Weapons at the ready.
You're... human? It's just that we weren't expecting to find life, let alone human life out here. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
Imagine being cut off from humankind for that long. How terribly frightening that would be.
Perhaps we should greet our guests.
Of course. Manners. I'm Captain Diana Brackenridge. This is Security Officer Bomani Reader. And this is Dr. Mabuti da Costa, one of our elders.
A pleasure to meet you.
You've come aboard the Earth colony ship Constant. Generations ago, we set forth from the planet Earth with the mission of colonizing a new habitable world in the spirit of our ancestors nearly a millennium ago. I see. As you may have presumed, we're in a bit of a bind. Our ship has finally completed its near 200-year journey from Earth, only to find our new home seemingly colonized by... well, we don't know. Communications haven't been successful, so your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps you'd be willing to act as a middle person between ourselves and... the others. We're not entirely sure. Our engineers believe it's possible that our technology just isn't all we hear when using them to communicate with anyone is a bunch of disturbing noise. It gave me the heebie-jeebies at first. Well, the short answer is, we didn't. It's a generation ship, which is to say that most of us live long, happy lives on board and passed our mission down to our children. It was never intended that the original crew would make it to our destination. The goal was always the preservation of the human race above all else. Though, it would seem that was perhaps a bit presumptuous. We do. Well, sort of. We saw structures using our surveying equipment. We've also seen the various ships pass us by. Some even seemed to want to communicate, but couldn't. Of course, we had no idea that they were being piloted by other humans. Ah, your question confirms one of our recent theories. It would seem that some form of faster-than-light travel or space-bending technology was invented during our long journey. That would explain why we would find people this far out into space. I guess technology leapfrogged us at some point. Interesting. I can only imagine that our predecessors didn't believe the technology would ever work, and so they made the decision to leave when they did. Oh yes, of course. Where are my manners? Now then, please follow me. There's much to discuss first. We'll speak more on the matter once we reach the bridge. Dr. DaCosta, you may return to your quarters if you wish.
Thank you, Captain.
I will follow you to the bridge, ma'am. For security purposes.
I do not believe
Careful waving that fancy gun around. Never seen a ship like yours
Stay out of trouble.
Then again, I haven't seen any ships.
Welcome to the Earth colony ship Constant. In the early 2100s, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, researched a number of scientific scenarios: climate change, asteroid impact, nuclear war, global pandemic, and more. Each scenario showed the likelihood of an extinction-level event to be within 50 years. He fully believed Earth was destined to be rendered uninhabitable. We've always assumed that's what happened. So, he gathered the best and brightest he could find, built the Constant, and set a course for this planet here. We were told that it was the largest, most advanced ship ever constructed on Earth at the time. If you can believe, entire generations have been born, lived, and died on this ship. It really goes to show that there are no limits to human ingenuity and perseverance.
Ok. Interessante.
We've got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason.
Now that we know what's out there, things are going to be more interesting from here on out.
So, here we are.
I have to say, with technology this outdated, I'm amazed this vessel is able to navigate at all.
Si potevano fare un reskin in effetti. Cioè praticamente sono gli stessi computer che troviamo ovunque. Tipo quello. Invece dovrebbe essere una tecnologia completamente diversa e antica di centinaia di anni.
I think I'm coming up on 6 years now. I was only a teenager when my father died, passing command of the ship to me, as is tradition. Because of that, I've had to sort of learn as I go along, instead of taking years of study and apprenticeship under the prior captain. I think some people on the ship resent me for not having the level of experience as my predecessors. But at the same time, without my command, we likely wouldn't have made it here so quickly. A bit frazzled, as you can imagine. People are anxious about discovering that we're not alone, and also worried about what will come to pass. While we hope we can work out a deal with the people on the surface, they seem reluctant to reach out, so there's no telling what will come of that. I do know that we can't afford to stay here in orbit forever. The ship was built to sustain us for many years with backup provisions just in case, but even that will come to an end eventually. Difficult is the wrong word. It can be both challenging at times and also exciting. Our mission was to rebuild humanity on a distant world, believing that we were Earth's last hope. To think that while there has always been a Brackenridge in the captain's chair, that I am the one to finally oversee our journey's end is truly exhilarating. But with this stumbling block in our path, at this final moment, I fear tough choices will need to be made. Well, as I mentioned, we've been unsuccessful in communications with anyone up until you arrived, though not for lack of trying. But since you're asking, maybe you'd be willing to be a sort of diplomat between us and them as we attempt to resolve our situation. Does that sound agreeable to you? We know there's a settlement on the planet below, meaning people were here before us. You see, we intended to settle here, but we assumed that they intend to defend their claim given their presence here. We'd like you to go speak to them on our behalf and help us negotiate a solution, preferably one that favors us. Excellent. Make no mistake, this is our planet, and we intend for them to see this our way. So, speak with their leadership and see if you can negotiate a solution on our behalf. Preferably, get them to see things our way. Report back to me and let me know what they say, and we'll go from there. We thought about it, but it simply won't do. I need to think about the distant future of our people. Sure, our first settlement may be small, but our predecessors dreamt of our new civilization spreading across the globe. That will be difficult if someone else plans to do the same. While we're not completely closed to the idea of sharing, it's much easier if we have complete domain over this world.
Ma non ha senso.
I'm serious. We have a rightful claim to this land, and I intend to fight for it. But as you're currently our only hope, perhaps you'll honor my request and give it your all, for the sake of some very...
Ma so... Io pensavo che... Fuori di testa. Va bene. Pensavo che sarebbero tranquillamente scesi, parlato con la gente. No, vogliono il mondo per chi gli aspetta di diritto e piuttosto se lo conquistano. Va bene. Un po' esagerato, però ehi. Chi sono io per dire che state solo esagerando in maniera esponenziale?
Never could get the hang of hacking. I prefer a more direct approach myself.
Wow. I know Captain Brackenridge has essentially given you free rein to wander the I hope you understand. Given we have so... It pays to take security seriously. Something I understand much better now.
Okay.
Hey, if you ever want some piloting tips, I'm your chica. Hey! Oh, geez. Sorry, of course you don't know my name. We never met. Sure. Well, unless... Oh, I'm the navigation officer. Though I'll be honest, the ship pretty much flies itself. I'm not sure what's next. See, the nav system's not perfect. We encounter stuff that our forebears didn't originally count on. Astral bodies, space debris, stuff like that. So sometimes I need to take manual control and get out of... Then there was the time I used those unaccounted for and slingshotted us around a few stars that weren't supposed to be there. Saved some fuel and knocked a few decades off our... It's incredible. I'm pretty excited to... I wonder about all we've missed this whole time while humanity... I'll be watching the skies for you.
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship. Just because our equipment's old, doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers. The Constant is a peaceful ship. Don't change that. The Constant is a peaceful ship. Don't change that.
Because...
Brackenridge. That sounds so familiar. Something from history slates that I've read. Oh, I feel I should know who this person is, but somehow it's escaped my memory.
We've got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason. Just stay out of trouble.
Basta che sta nave è gigante. Pure l'ascensore.
Never seen a ship like yours before.
I wonder what it's like out there beyond our little community.
I was hoping to talk to our visitor. I have a million burning questions, but I won't overwhelm you. There will be plenty. How did you do it? Did humanity... I knew it. It's incredible! I read... Oh, I've got so many questions. I haven't even given you my name. And, I might add, I'm one of the reasons... Yes, of course. Yes! Do people only live on naturally habitable planets? Or did they... Are we in contact with alien species? I have so many... Haha! I knew it! Incredible! Amazing! Simply... Even this ship was only possible by our families pulling together nearly... I'm not surprised. The amount of energy, I can assume these types of colonies are strictly for mining and gathering rare resources since there are near... Disappointing, but not... I suggested that the most likely explanation for you was that humanity had developed faster, more... Thank... Many years ago, when I was a junior engineer, the reactor's computer broke. I'll spare you the details, but when that happens, I had to jury-rig parts from old media devices to prevent a meltdown. And that's how I became... Some may say I'm pretty sure that ran out 100 years ago. When I'm not dealing with catastrophic engine failures, we maintain all the machinery, computers, you name it. Great question. I didn't... All of the reading I've done on the matter suggests that at the time, there was uncertainty that the technology... So, I trust they made the decision... See you!
Sir,
hey.
There's a minor issue with the O2 regulator.
I noticed that earlier. Shouldn't be anything to worry about, but let's get it patched up.
Miss Yang said we are experiencing history right now, and that there will be books written about us.
I'm
gonna
glad
be in
you're
a
not
book.
an alien, but that would have been
Teaching
so
will
cool.
always be. Hello there. Given that I don't know you, I'm Julia, the Constant's chief historian. As we're the descendants of wealthy elites, intellectuals. The thinking was that Earth's days were numbered for a variety of reasons. Our fight. Thus, he constructed this colony ship to... We suspected that we may have been the only ones to leave Earth. Well, we launched Tuesday, September 20th. Would have been longer, but it turns out we have an ace navigator who saved... ECS stands for Earth Colony Ship. We wanted a fairly inclusive name to represent the planet, and not a particular... There was an old colony ship that sailed across the oceans of Earth from a country called England. It was called either the Susan or Sarah Constant. No one seems to know. Ironically enough, that ship also reached what they thought was new land. As chief historian, I can tell you a lot, probably. You know where to find me if you... If you ask around, people will either tell you my job. There's more to it than that. Generations ago, it used to be lawkeeper of humanity. While I don't think my job is as important as captain engineering, I do. But sometimes it's frustrating to convince some people that my job... There was a time where I thought my sister was the lucky one, running the hydroponics. But I grew to like my work. And working with children is not... It's okay. I don't mind you asking. I'm actually proud of my choice. It's a great... As you can imagine, a population limit is a necessity on... I made my choice long ago to give others the chance to have a larger family should they wish. Of course. Everyone was assigned. Someone has to prove themselves either exceptionally bad at their job, but that rarely happens. I run the educational programs aboard. We try to have group sessions some evenings where we read. So yes, I hang out with children. We historians are charged with keeping Earth culture alive. Thanks for saying so. Goodbye.
Captain Brackenridge says the future is bright, but I think the Constant was pretty bright too, so I don't really know what that means.
Miss Julia, I have a question.
Sure. What is it?
If there were animals on Earth, why aren't there any animals here?
Oh. Well, there wasn't enough
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship.
Boy, am I glad you weren't some sort of alien or something.
Hi there. Oh! Nice to meet you. And that's true. Right? We've been cooped up together in this ship all our lives. Anyway, sorry for freezing up before. I just didn't expect our visitor from the outside. I'm Daisuke, the ship's provisions manager. I'm not sure what I can... Not really. Things don't work that way here. It's not a shop like you hear about in the books and movies. Almost everything is communal or shared in some way, but sometimes people want a little something. So when that happens, mostly, I just keep track of the ship's inventory and help ration the... We manage. I know back on Earth, there used to be stores all over the place. Some that even specialize in specific type. But here, this is it. It works out for the most part.
Blah, 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 blah.
Take care.
Hey there.
There's so much more to learn about now.
These are exciting times, aren't they?
And to think, all this time, we thought we were alone.
I saw a minute here. How
Ok, qua si torna su.
But he deserves whatever he gets. Do you know how many times...
Wow, I've heard about you, but here you are.
I've lived my entire life in the Constant. I'm not sure how...
Sure is nice to know there are other people. I wonder what it's like out there, beyond our little community.
Now that we know what's out there, things are gonna be more interesting from here on out.
Not as hard as...
I wonder what else is out there. Hey.
I've lived my entire life in the Constant. I'm not sure how else to...
It definitely takes a special type of person to live their entire life, birth to death, aboard a single ship traveling through space.
Wow. Hi.
If you ever need a friendly ear to listen and not judge, you know where to find me. Oh, hi! Hello! Sorry, I'm a little... Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I'm Abe. Levitz. Please do. People didn't know what to think. Here we are, minding our own. Then we hear some sort of garbled transmissions on the radio. Real screech. People had all sorts of fakakta theories. Aliens, time travelers, Anyway, it spooked the bejesus out of us, because we were expecting to find... Ah! Glad you asked! It's a demanding job, but in short, I try to keep both the kids and adults entertained. Scavenger! We also have regular media nights where a historian, Julia Oh, you must mean the Yiddish. It's an old family. See, we didn't think the language would survive if we didn't. So, it's a point of pride for our family, and something I'd like to pass on to others so they don't forget. Like my great-great-great-great-grandma. Me? I take care of people here. I live with my husband, Daisuke, no kids. We passed on having a surrogate so others could have larger families. Instead, I get to spend time with everyone and their families here. They call me the... I may have had something to do with it. Don't be a stranger now. Oh, I've always wanted to say that.
Wow. I've heard about you, but here you are.
Huh. And to think, all this time we thought we were alone.
Sure is nice to know.
Boy,
It definitely takes a special type of person to live their entire life, birth to death, aboard a single ship traveling through space.
As I always tell my patients, worry not, for tomorrow may bring happy surprises. If there is ever anything... I'm a doctor. I assist my wife Lorelai. I know it must seem strange to you. I am not the captain. The captain trusts me to de-escalate situations. Pardon me saying, but... So, Captain Breckenridge wanted me to come along. I am glad that you are peaceful. To the best of our knowledge, sure the living quarters could be considered cramped. I suppose as I get on in here, it was good talking with you.
Hey there.
Cioè, lo so che è esagerato.
Never seen a ship like yours before. Then again, I haven't seen any
Però
ships
potevano
before.
spenderci, dai. Come hanno aggiunto quelle due cose antiche, doveva essere solo così.
We've got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason.
Cioè, hanno le armi specifiche.
Just because her equipment's old doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers.
Poi ci sta che alcune cose le abbiamo, cioè nei sistemi colonizzati ci sia alcune tecnologie tipo le porte o il banco lavoro che è simile, però è identico. C'è un po' una pigrizia che non hanno avuto voglia di finire il lavoro, ecco. C'è modo per scendere.
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship. The Constant is a peaceful ship. Don't change.
There's so much more to learn about now.
Oh, I guess. Oh, well. Certainly not what I want.
I mean, I hate this job. I'm the cultivation manager. Fancy work? Like, I'm great at what... Meanwhile, my sister Julia, she gets to... The kids I couldn't care less about, but she doesn't even care about Earth cult. Oh my god, every day. You see exactly the... Seriously, the only thing that kept... Although now that we're here, nothing seems to be happening.
Ah, so you've met her. Julie and I were actually triplets with our sister Jen, but the ship ran out of one of her medications and she didn't... Sucks, but it is what it is. We only have so many supplies, we couldn't exactly get... Anyway, it happened a long time ago. I don't really feel that she... See you, I guess.
I've lived my entire life in the Constant. I'm not sure how else to live.
Hey there.
Hydroponics? Of course. This must be how the colony ship kept itself fed over all these years in space.
Now that we know what's out there, things are going to be more interesting from here on out.
And to think, all this time, we thought we were alone.
I don't have much to spare, but if you are ever injured... Wait, how is it I'd... Oh my. Yeah, they sent my husband. It's quite fortunate that you arrived when... There isn't. At least not in the medical sense. Since he was one of the eldest on board, he was ready to volunteer for termination.
Excuse me?
It means that he was going to volunteer his own life for the sake of the others on this. Like the others, his life would then be honored with special distinction. Rarely we had to make difficult choices when no one would volunteer.
I know you're anxious. We all are, believe me. Oh. I know.
I certainly hope so.
I should certainly hope that it doesn't. You be careful, okay?
Sometimes, difficult choices must be made. Indeed. In addition to regular checkups, I perform surgeries. I also help train the next generation. We try our best to avoid that through careful thought. Rarely we run into situations where things do not go according to plan. We never do anything without careful consideration. Nothing. As one of the eldest.
Excuse me?
It means, like the others, rarely. I know you think...
No, I don't. Hope we can talk later.
Perhaps I can soon retire. Take care of yourself out there.
I wonder what it's like out there beyond our little community.
Wow. Hi.
Ok.
I wonder what else is out there.
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship.
Separation. Good to go for landing.
Speravo fosse un posto un po' più piccolo, però vabbè.
enjoy your stay, knowing you're in our capable hands.
Non posso andare in giro vestito così, imbarazzante.
Welcome to Paradiso. Jiro, do you have a security concern? Neither. We're our own private force. The Paradiso group pays top, and I dare say we're some of the best in the business. We have to be out here. Honestly, it's not as exciting as you might think most. More often than not, we're just handling drunk and heck, even pirates leave us alone for the most part. I think it's because some of them actually vacation here. Something I can help you with? Ah, yes. Let's get right to it then. Under normal circumstances, we would not enlist outside help in this manner. As such, we need to handle this. So, before we proceed, you're right. We're not. Which means we're not. In other words, it's our system and our rule. Great. Not too long ago, a strange and enormous ship. So far, doesn't seem to be hostile, but any attempt. I see. Well, if you're speaking on their behalf, I'll refer you right along to the chair. All formal decisions will go through him, not me.
Vabbè.
Your safety is our #1 priority.
I hope your stay here is going well.
Darling, you look truly amazing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Why, hello, darling. Welcome to Enhanced Paradiso. You too. We can make you thinner, or perhaps I can... Thank you for stopping by.
Tutti i computer della galassia hanno lo stesso.
Everything here is a little more expensive than I expected. Guess that's how they get you.
You'd think we'd be a prime target for pirates, but they know to stay away for the most part.
You can dress it up however you like, but a chunks by any other name is
Welcome to
still a
Chunks.
chunk.
If this is your first time, please don't hesitate to ask if there's... Huh. I thought it was a joke at first. But maybe next time you can ask him to make it last longer, so I don't have to keep doing this so often.
Oh,
this is even better than in the brochure!
I don't think any place could be more perfect.
Maybe you can get that to point us to the nearest restaurant. Ah.
I'm on vacation because I don't want to be bothered by anyone. Get it?
I'm not much of a beach person, but everyone talks about this place, so I had to see for myself.
Not to be a downer, but this place is almost too perfect, right?
Parasailing maybe?
Hey, how's it going?
You know, we still have other fun activities.
Yeah, this name's Emilion, by the way. I work for the resort. Anyway, unless you need something else, I should... Gotta solve all the resort's problems before I can enjoy the... You know what? I definitely could. We just got a major recall on our air purifiers. And neither me or any of my staff are able to get off work. Wow, that'd be great. You can pick up the purifier parts using this claim slip at the Unified Transport Facility at Gagarin Landing. Just show the claim to the shipping manager, Akachi Rosenblum.
Hey there, I'm Harish. If you're looking for stuff to do at... I'm surprised you even have to ask. But honestly, I'm kind of a beach nut. I could spend hours with my toes in the sand. Hey, maybe that's where I should run the guided meditation I'm supposed to run. Oh, me? Whatever, man. Those winds... Now, I've been assigned to lead the guided meditations, but they haven't started up yet and, well... It's a big planet with a ton of water, so I'd be lying if I... But, I do know we've never, and I mean everything we've run into is so docile and beautiful in their own ways. See you. Don't be afraid. Kick back and relax a little.
This is probably the best vacation I've ever taken.
I'm just glad I don't work on the luxury cruisers that bring people here.
Unless you're here to liquor me up or sell me drugs, you're no use to me.
The beach, the sound of the ocean. Ah, this is wonderful.
No one's going to care if I call out sick from work for another week. I wish I had booked a stay for longer. I was worried about my beach
The hell you looking?
until I spoke with that lady at the dance here.
In the mood.
Okay.
It's a beautiful day for a wedding, isn't it?
Hello. Hello there, dear. It's beautiful out there, isn't it? Hello, welcome to... Let me know if I can answer any questions you may have. If you have business with Oliver, you'll first need to speak with Kiwi, the board's... You'll find them if you take the elevator up to the top. For that, you'll want to head inside, go to the main desk, and speak with Dirk. He'll... Ah, this is your first time here. That's exactly what... People from all over come here to bask in the sun, enjoy the all-net... Unfortunately, the beach is reserved. The Paradiso Group owns all land on Parima 2, so you must either be a... But, and you didn't hear this from me, security rarely has the ban. Always feel free to ask if you have more questions.
It may be paradise, but that doesn't mean we don't run into trouble from time to time.
Ah, come here for a little R&R, huh?
Oh, this looks like a lovely place for a stay. Might also be the perfect time to stop for
Another
some
lost
food
belonging
or
notification
tranquility.
in the system.
Where should we begin?
Oh dear, a guest. Dreadfully sorry you had to hear my complaint. How unprofessional. Hello, welcome to Paradiso. Dirk Huddleston at... Oh, no, nonsense. Just a small scheduling issue. Some of our guests have misplaced their belongings. Just one of the many services we are happy to provide here at Paradiso. Interesting. Yet you've decided to take a shuttle here or land your craft on a... Well, if you change your mind... Oh no, you're on vacation. I wouldn't dream of us. But if you want to take a look at the list in the system and you happen to find anything while you're out and about, For one, our hotel rooms are quite luxurious. The executive suite is especially posh, but perpetually booked. However, I must say, even you'll find our beach relaxing, and we have several top-notch shops, and of course, we also have the galaxy's only gourmet chunks. And if you're feeling adventurous, I believe the Enhance is... Broad question, but I'll try my best. Paradiso is the... This planet is as perfect as one could possibly imagine. That is, assuming... Parima 2 is owned independently by the Paradiso Group. We exist outside of the United Colonies and Freestar Collective. The Paradiso Group is run by several board members, many of whom take rest. They established the resort as a getaway for all on the most beautiful planet. The system show... Are you looking for the daily rate or the... Certainly. Be sure to experience all our resort has. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
It's lovely here.
If I could just stay here forever, I would.
If only I could... figure out the secret to that new drink. I might need to enlist outside help. Hey, sorry. Matter of fact, we keep losing business to Tranquility. It seems like they're always trying new things, new recipes. I have an idea, but A tea sommelier from Tranquility. I overheard them talking to Polly about some new tea product they're working on. If you could convince them, or otherwise get the recipe before it goes to market, I'm sure it will help. I hope so.
Hey there. Glad to see you again.
Why did I think 3 days was going to be enough?
We've got all sorts of teas. Anything catch your fancy? Hello. Welcome. If you fancy a cuppa, we have some new and classic blends that are sure to satisfy even the most You know, I thought you looked familiar. I think I've seen you. I'm a big fan of the Red Mile. You know Donovan Reese? He once came and ordered tea at our little shop. If you ever run into him... Aye, that's the spirit. It's not like... So, what can I get? Oh, wow, I thought that... You know, you're Well, if you want something strong, if you want something relaxing, we have chamomile. But if you want something more exotic to tickle your fancy, might I suggest... We offer the fine... Have a good day now.
I guess I have to admit, this resort isn't as bad as I thought it'd be.
We've got stuff, if you need stuff. Welcome to Pet. Feel free to look around, but don't break anything. And before you ask, there aren't any discount. Why would I? I have to sell overpriced crap to Rude. My uncle works for the Paradiso board. When he said he could get me a... But it's not all bad. I don't have to worry about getting fired. And I live in Paradiso. Mm-hmm. That...
Potrebbe essere quello della stazione pirata, anche se ne dubito. Con gli omaggi della casa.
No. Ugh. You people always think that just because we're some... I would... Okay. Thanks for shopping.
No major incidents in a while. Let's hope it stays that way.
Andiamo al contrario.
This is the spot. Right here. It's absolutely perfect.
No one's going to care if I call out sick from work for another week.
Salut, bonjour, good day. Welcome to Chez Simon. Might I interest you in some refresh? Yes and no. It's my name on the sign, and I generally get... I even had to sign over my name to get it up on the sign. Part of my contract with them. But I tend to look at it as job security. What? Plenty, but I consider myself a prophet. However, I don't consider the Paradiso Group board members. I have heard from multiple celebrity visitors that our CEO, Oliver Campbell, isn't as dumb. Word is, he likes to be told what to do and is performance evaluations are often subpar. Normally, I wouldn't spread such rumors. They can sometimes get pretty out. We've had to do away with the foam parties, for instance, soapy surfaces, and before you worry, we never had a fatality. Fair warning.
There are so many activities I'm looking forward to doing.
I was worried about my beach body until I spoke with that lady at Enhance here.
What a view out here, huh? Sorry, did you need something? This should be interesting. It's probably not that big of a deal. Okay, well, it's not selfish to protect corporate interest, but... Well, I can appreciate that. I'm glad to hear you like my other Very well. I can tell another tea enthusiast like myself when I meet one. What's the harm in sharing what I found? Besides, it's not even guaranteed to go to market anytime soon. And even when it does, that...
Why would you help someone else steal the company recipe? Hmm? It appears...
I guess I have to admit, this resort isn't as bad as I thought it'd be.
Everything here is a little more expensive than I expected. Guess that's how they get you.
There are so many activities I'm looking forward to doing.
My shoes again.
But I'm just having a good time.
Hi.
I'm not much of a beach person, but everyone talks about this place, so I had to see for myself.
We've got somebody. Yes, privacy.
It's lovely here.
We try to stay out of the guests' way, but we're always here if needed.
Questa e poi chiudiamo la missione qua e poi stacchiamo e ci vediamo fra un po' di giorni.
Where the hell did you learn to do all of that? Oh, please don't say neon.
Ok.
Please, let the concierge know if you need anything.
Excuse me, you can't just waltz in there. Do you have an appointment? Oh, you're the one they're waiting for then. Do you need anything else from me? I can't speak for anyone else, but I've got a pretty high-pressure job working as the executive assistant. You can imagine, dealing with a team of execs, trying to manage all of their schedule. But it pays well, and they give me a nice executive suite at the hotel to live in, so... People were a little freaked out around here, understandably. It looks so different, and it's so massive. We honestly thought we were under attack by an unknown entity. But then, nothing happened. It just... And we've been very careful not to alert the resort guests. The board believed it would be... what I could tell you would get me in a lot of trouble. Most of them are typical C-level execs. I doubt you even need to use your imagination for that. I swear, I've never even met some of them, because they chill at their own private... Anyway, be smart around Oliver. He's got a way of getting what he wants without... Sure. Have fun in the Shark Tank. And...
Hope you're staying safe out there.
I just feel that we should be focusing on the natural beauty of this planet, not our amenities.
There are millions of planets out there. People can go to any one of them. The resort facilities are precisely what we bring to the table.
With a name like Paradiso,
it's the only thing we've
marketing
really
for
got
this
to
place
offer.
writes
If
itself.
it's not important, bring it up with Kiwi. Not quite. We just don't answer to the free... Makes things easier. We don't pay any taxes. We don't need to follow their laws. And no one minds, because half the politicians and other big shots love it. We, the Paradiso Group, bought the rights to this planet years ago with the intent of turning it into the biggest, and as such, no other leisure enterprises may operate on the planet without renting land from us. No, of course not. There's several more. We're just the ones who show updated. The others spend their time lazing on the beach or gallivanting. Doesn't bother me, though. Less cooks in the kitchen means I get to make all the big decisions around here. I am. And you must be the diplomat Jiro told me about. Welcome, welcome. Normally I'd offer you an all-inclusive stay at our resort before we spoke. But given the circumstances, I'm going to cut to the chase. We've got our friends, the aliens, up there, causing all sorts of problems for our resort. You like that? The marketing team came up with it. The thought is, if we can't get rid of them, it might actually attract more tourism. Come see the aliens! Ah, we're being direct then. Good on you. So, what... Well, that's something. Shame we can't just tell them kindly to bugger off. Something tells me that's not going to work. Now, tell me, what are we going to do about it? Give me some proposals, people. I need something to work with here.
We could offer to resettle them here. There's more than enough space.
They could stay here, temporarily, but it'll cost them. Quite a bit, too. They'd need to work off all their debts before being allowed to leave.
Maybe not. What if we help them get out of here? Outfit their ship with a grav drive so they can find a new home. We could even lend our engineers to help and give their captain an updated star map. What do you think?
Sounds costly. We can't absorb that cost, and it's unlikely they even have compatible currency, let alone enough for the transaction. Someone else would have to foot the bill.
Oh, I swear this would be a lot easier if they ceased to exist entirely. Anyway, Seema's got the right idea. Either works for me. Just tell me what you want to do. We own this planet, they don't. Here at Paradiso, we don't like leaving things to chance. Who knows what these people will do with their land? Imagine the landscaping disasters they might come up with, and how that might mar the satellite imagery of the planet in our brochures. No, much better to assimilate them into our culture if they come here to live, rather than leave it to chance. And that's within your right. But as the sea... So, as much as I appreciate your... We operate outside of the Free Star Zone they used, and we'd rather not draw attention to it. As I've mentioned, it could be better. I'm not suggesting anything, other than it would make our lives... It's not our responsibility to bear the brunt. We're being more than generous by offering the use of our engineering. A custom grav drive can't come cheap, and I assume they have neither the monetary means nor... That leaves the only other party in this negotiation. Oh, I didn't say that specifically. This would be a mutual contract for room and board. Of course, there's no telling how long this arrangement will last, given the substantial costs we'd need to take on in order to accommodate them here. But this may save the resort on operating costs in the long term, as we'd be able to let go of some of our current... And which proposal? They'd be hard-pressed to defend their claim in any courts. Our charter goes back years. It was registered with both the UC and Free Star Collective, per the Centaurus Proclamation. We may be outside the settled systems, but that charter's official as can be. I'm sorry, but you're going to need to be the one to break the news to them that they need to make a compromise or leave. Ah, good on you. You want to see a man named Benny St. James over at Hope Tech. He's the best in the business. If anyone can retrofit a 200-year-old ship with a modern grav drive, we'll coordinate our engineering team with his when you return. Though you may have to help the Constance engineers prepare for it on their end.
I know this was a difficult decision, but if it's any consolation, compared to the destruction of their vessel and relegating them to a life of service.
Right. On behalf of the Paradiso Group...
What's not to love about this planet? I don't want to risk us coming off as just another...
You're back. Did you get it? Amazing! Oh, hold on. Well, hold on. Okay. Now, let's... Wait. The secret ingredient is... coffee? Really? And I have higher quality coffee ingredients.
Come here for a little R&R, huh? Me too.
While we're here, we should swing by Hope Tech Star Yard and see if they have anything interesting for sale.
I don't want to hear any complaints.
Keep an eye on your valuables.
Ron Hope certainly embodies the saying, "Spend
hello.
at no expense."
I'm not used to people wanting to talk to me. Sure, that sounds like me. What can I do for you? Oh, you should have just said Oliver sent a courier ahead of you. I did some research on ships from... So grab drives didn't really take off until after the ship was built. But I've got parts not cheap though. Neither is the labor. Just pay the combined cost. It's a pretty big ass. I'm not sure about karma, but you're not wrong. It would be generous, and tell you what. Sounds like this is for a good cause. While I can't give it... You're darn right it is. I recommend you go back to the ship and ask the captain to... We'll send the part along when it's ready and install it with the help of Oliver's people. Pleasure working with you.
Intanto che ci siamo, andiamo da questa a prendere la Gagarin. Intanto che ci siamo.
This thing I'd like to help you, but there's a problem with my computers. The technician said they should be done fixing it by 1100 hours local time. Normally I wouldn't, and I wasn't looking forward to... Not much time to talk.
Now, if I could get you to fix the coffee maker aboard our ship.
How about that? I guess I can call up the technician. And thanks to you, I won't have to work extra to make up. Here's your order. Thanks again.
Va bene. Facciamo un bel salto.
Solid docking job there. Nice work.
Captain, do you require my assistance?
Nope. Ah no, non si
The
passa più.
Constant is a peaceful ship.
Just because our equipment's old doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers.
I can't. If the other colonists knew how many times the constant... What grab drive? All right. This will be... I've just received word that the drive is here. But yes, of course I need your help. My team needs to stay on top of their daily maintenance. Your help is going to be vital to this procedure. Oh, don't worry. We've kept this ship going with minimal incidents. But, to be clear, what we're doing... Great, great, great! First thing I need you to do is reroute the power from the port turbo pump. Then, turn the plasma runoff inhibitor function to 5%. Last, you'll need to decouple the magnetic flange pipe enclosures from the auxiliary module assembly. Got it? Let's hop to it!
Reattore ausiliario, plasma al 5.
Wow, I've heard about you, but... Here you are.
Boy, am I glad. You want some sort of alien or something?
Disaccoppiare involucri magnetici. Flangiato. Allora, dice di... disaccoppiare magnetici dall'assemblaggio modulo ausiliario. Mangiato. Ultima volta, Allora, impostare, disaccoppiare involucri Assemblaggio modulo ausiliario. Assemblaggio modulo ausiliario. Assemblaggio modulo ausiliario. Fatto?
People always appreciate a good engineer. Something. Let's get to. So long!
Allora, renderizzare l'energia turbopompa di babordo al reattore criogenico. Turbopompa di babordo al criogenico. Ausiliaria. Ok.
Both your end and mine.
We've got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason.
Careful waving that fancy gun around. We don't need to see what it can do.
Now that you're here, I can finally give my crew a chance. Well, well, it would appear we have the means to go nearly anywhere now, thanks to you. The engineers even upgraded our communications equipment so we can speak with passing ships. Turns out it was a pretty easy fix. Thank you again for all you've done. We don't yet know, but we did receive a star map from the Paradiso engineers. I suppose we'll just chart a course for other suitable habitable worlds until we find one that matches the quality of Paradiso. Purima 2 here. Without you, we'd most likely be stuck. But you went above and beyond. I'll make sure people tell tales of your generosity for as long as our society lives. I don't know if we can ever fully repay you. Thank you again.
Bene. Amato un po' di roba vecchia. Ok.